Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. So I have recently decided to start a new series about ROS2 launch files. So have you ever worked with ROS2 projects, like complicated ones, where you had to start many ROS2 nodes or ROS2 entities at the same time, but didn't know how to do it? This is where ROS2 launch files come in handy. So in the first video in this series, I'm gonna make sure that you understand the importance of these launch files and their convenience. And then I'm gonna write with you guys a simple code to give you a concrete example about a simple launch file. And in later videos, I'm gonna add layers of complexity to show you how flexible these files can be and how much convenience they can give us. But before I dive deeper into the content of today's video, I would like to say that it's really appreciated if you support me by subscribing to this channel and activating the notification button so you can stay tuned for new videos. So without any further ado, let's get started. So first, what is a launch file in ROS2? It is a file that is written in Python actually, that will allow you to start many ROS2 entities like ROS2 nodes together from one file. So instead of going over each node to start it, you can do that only from one file. This is really convenient in complicated projects, as I have mentioned before. And if you are familiar with ROS1, we used to do this using XML, but this is a markup language. But in ROS2, we can do it using Python. So the launch file is gonna be a Python script, which is really convenient, as you will see in a moment. And not only that, ROS2 launch files will allow you to control the order at which you want to start your ROS2 entities or ROS2 nodes. And you can, for example, introduce delays between different processes or different entities. You can also introduce arguments that you can use with these nodes. And also you can create multiple launch files and then put everything in one launch file that will start them all. So these are all conveniences introduced in ROS2 launch files that we are going to cover in this series. So let's just start by creating a ROS2 package. And in this ROS2 package, I'm gonna create a launch file and then I'm gonna use it, I'm gonna start it. And it's gonna be, in this case, a simple listener and talker nodes that will be started together. So I'm gonna open a terminal window. And then we are going to create a directory, and this is the name that I will give. It's gonna be YouTube launch tutorials ROS2 workspace / source, and then I'm gonna head to that directory. Don't you worry, I'm gonna include the commands that I'm using in the video description down below. Next, I'm gonna create a ROS2 package, and it's gonna be a CMake package. So I'm gonna rely on the C++ version of ROS2 in this case. And by the way, I have ROS2 Humble installed on my system right now. So as you can see, the package will be called my launch example. and it will be based on Amensi make, and I'm gonna give it in an Apache license. So we have created this package. So if we list, we will see that this package was created. And if I open VS Code to check the content of this package, you will see that you have like the essentials that you need include source directories and the CMake list.txt, the license, and the package.xml. Now I'm gonna create a directory for the launch file. So I'm gonna call it launch in this case. And I'm gonna head there. And then finally, I'm gonna create the Docker listener launch file using touch. And then we can open VS Code in this case. It's already opened. So as you can see, inside launch, I will have this file that I'm going to populate. So this is usually the convention that you should follow. You should create a directory called launch where you put your launch files inside a certain package. Now, let's start by like filling this code or this script. So from launch, I'm gonna start by importing the launch description. And the launch description actually is going to be used to create an object that will include the different nodes that we want to start together. Also, I'm gonna import from launch ROS.actions node because we want to create several nodes to start them together. Then inside the launch file, I'm gonna define this main function, which is the generate launch description. And this function should return a launch description object. And I have mentioned this previously. And then I'm going to return two nodes in this case. So the first node is going to be the Docker node. So I'm gonna add package. I'm gonna specify the name of the package. And in this case, I'm gonna use the nodes provided from a package that was installed automatically when you have installed ROS2 on your system. So it was included in the installation. I'm gonna specify the executable name. It's gonna be Docker in this case, which will initiate messages. It will publish some messages on a ROS2 topic. And then I'm gonna give this executable a name. I'm gonna call it my Docker. So this will be the name of our node. Then I'm gonna add another node, which is going to be the listener node. So we're gonna add a package. I'm gonna call it demo nodes cpp. So this is the package name. Sorry, I did not call it. This is its name. Then we're gonna add executables. It's gonna be the listener. And then we're gonna give a name to our node. And we will call it my listener. So that's pretty much it. I have included the two nodes that I'm going to start together from this launch file. And this is the simplistic structure of the launch file. As you can see, it's very clear. But we didn't include too many things. I'm gonna make sure to add layers of complexity later on in later videos, but don't you worry about it. I will make sure to walk you through this complexity, added complexity step by step so you won't feel it. So once we are done, we need to head to our cmakelist.txt file. So right now, the content of this file was created automatically using the ROS2 pkg command that I have used previously. But we need to introduce some modifications. So more specifically, I'm gonna include the following command, and I'm gonna explain to you why this is important. So the install command will specify what directory you want to install inside the install directory of your workspace. So as you know, or if you don't know already, when you have a ROS2 workspace, you will start with the source directory, src. But then once you will build your workspace, ROS2 will create install, build, and log directories. And inside each directory, you will have a dedicated folder for each of your packages that you have inside this workspace. So in this case, I'm gonna have a package called my launch example. So I'm expecting my launch example folders under build, under install, and under log. Now, inside this install command, you have to specify the directory that you wish to copy and put under the install directory. So, and this is specified relative to the location of the cmakelist.txt file. So in this case, we want the launch directory in here, which is on the same level. So we have specified launch to be included inside the install folder. Not only this, I can go further and specify in details where inside this install folder I want to create a copy for this launch directory. So in this case, it's gonna be under share project name, which is the name of my package. So long story short, this command will take the launch directory in here, in my source, and put it inside install folder slash, so I'm gonna write it down quickly in here. So it's gonna be under install, and then the package name that was created automatically by ROS2 when I built my workspace. Then we will follow by share project name, and in this case the project name will be for sure the name of your package in here. So I'm expecting the launch directory to be in here. And why this is important? Because you need ROS2 to recognize the location of your launch file when you attempt to start it, as we will do later on using a simple command towards the end of this video. So this is important to be done, to be added to the cmakelist.txt file. Otherwise, ROS2 won't recognize the location of your launch file inside the package that you have created. Okay? Now, once we do that, we need to build our workspace. So I'm gonna reopen my terminal, and I'm gonna head to the workspace directory, and then I'm gonna use Culkin build. Once we do that, you can see that my package was created, it was built. Now we need to source it. So I'm gonna include that in my bash rc, as I usually do. And then we are going to source. Let's see, this is our workspace. And then install setup.bash. And then once this is sourced, make sure to open a new terminal. And then you need to start your launch file using the following command. So this command is as follows. You have ROS2 launch, and then you specify the package name. It's in this case my launch example, and then you specify talker listener.launch.py, which is the launch Python script that we have written. But remember, if you don't add this to your cmakelist.txt file, you won't be able to run your launch file using this command. Okay? Now let's start this. So as you can see, the launch file was started, and I can see a talker publishing a message, hello world, and then the listener is receiving this message, and everything is happening in the same terminal. Okay, I didn't need to start two terminals to start two different nodes separately. This happened from the same terminal, from the same Python script. So this is the beauty of the launch files. And I would like to give you a really important tip. So right now, if I modify my launch file in here, my launch script, let's say by removing this node and keeping only one node, which is the talker. And if I attempt right now to restart my launch file, the modifications that I have applied won't take effect. Why is that? Because, simply put, the launch file that I have created under the source directory was not copied to the install directory inside my workspace because I did not rebuild my workspace. So I have two options in here. Either I make sure to rebuild my workspace every single time I modify my launch file, which can be not practical, and instead I can modify my build process and by including the symlink install. So let me show you that this won't take effect right now. So I have saved the modifications, but I did not rebuild my workspace. Now I'm gonna start my launch file again, and you will see that I still have the talker and the listener nodes started at the same time. But let's say that I'm gonna remove these modifications, but before introducing the modifications again, I'm gonna build my workspace, but this time I'm gonna add the following flag: symlink install. And this will actually create symlinks in the install directory that will point to the actual source files, which are in this case my launch files, or the launch file that we have created right now. So this way, when you apply modifications on the actual source file, the modifications will be automatically reflected without having to rebuild your workspace. Because instead of copying the source file to the install directory, we have created a link that points to it. So let's try this out. Oh, sorry. I need to head to the right path. So let's see. We're gonna go to this in here, and then we're gonna use this command. So the build process was done, but we know what's the difference now. So I'm gonna start it before the modifications, So as you can see, you have the talker and the listener. But let's say that I reintroduce the modifications by excluding one of the nodes, and then I save. Without rebuilding, you will see that the modifications will take effect. So I'm gonna delete all of it. You cannot apparently introduce comments this way inside the launch file. So now, as you can see, you only have a talker, no more listener. So this is a quick tip to make your life easier. So this way, if you have a big workspace, you don't need to rebuild everything if you applied a simple modification in a certain launch file. So I hope you guys right now have a clear understanding of the launch file and its importance. In the next videos, I'm gonna make sure to cover the arguments. I'm gonna show you how to include arguments in your launch files and to use them with your nodes. So if you like this video, please make sure to press the like button, and I hope to see you guys the next time.